What's going on, guys? It's Jay here, and what I wanted to bring you all today is something a little different from what I normally have on my channel. Today, I wanted to talk about surviving your very first year of college. Now, I've already went to college twice now for really the past 6 years. I finished up my undergraduate degree in 2015 and then finished my master's at the very end of 2017. And so I just kind of wanted to share some of the knowledge that I have picked up over the years to maybe help some of you guys out going into it, because I mean, it can be a huge transition going from high school all the way up to college. And so without further ado, we'll just get right on into it. So for tip number one, I have to say one of my biggest recommendations is to rent your textbooks. Now, I'm not kidding. I did the math once I finished up my undergraduate degree, and I would have saved like $2,800 if I would have just rented my textbooks compared to actually buying them every single time. And honestly, that's a really good chunk of change over a 4-year period. I didn't really think about renting until I think I was a junior in college, to where I was like, oh, I could be saving $300 a book if I just rent it for 3 months. I mean, that's too good of a deal to pass up. And I know some teachers will be like, you need to buy your books and da-da-da-da. But honestly, if I use a book 4 or 5 times in a whole semester, there's no reason why you should actually have to buy it. Just either rent it or borrow it off of a buddy when you need it. I mean, do what you gotta do, but money doesn't really grow on trees, and I have tons of other things I'd rather be spending my college cash on. Alright, moving on to number 2 is to join an extracurricular activity or be involved in some kind of sport. And so the reason why I bring this up is I know there's a lot of extroverts and a lot of introverts, and you can kind of get them crisscrossed depending on how active and open that you are. But I feel like everybody needs to have something that they're doing other than just going to class and then going straight back to the dorm. It can get really, really monotonous, and it can make it really hard to make friends, especially if you are an introvert. And so having a way that you can kind of feel connected to the community and connected to your campus can bring forth a lot of possibilities and a lot of different opportunities as well. And so for me personally, I played sports, and so I got to travel all across the U.S., meeting people, making new friends, getting to compete. I mean, I had a really, really good time, and it was a lot of life events that I would have missed out on if I hadn't been a part of something. For my third tip, what I have is to volunteer in the community. This is something that is going to be really, really good for your resume, and I mean, honestly, it makes you feel like a good person at the end of the day. I know for me, there was a lot of humane societies where we got to walk dogs and wash dogs and cats and things like that. I know that's it's real fun washing cats, but anyways, it was a way to give back. A lot of times we go to school, we go back to the dorms, we go to the cafeteria, and then we just don't really do anything extra. And this is a way to give back and to kind of feel like you're helping out people in need and animals in need. And it, like I said, it looks really good on resumes. Like I said, I mean, if you're doing volunteer work for free, they know that you have the gumption to kind of get out and work towards something to kind of better society. And that, I feel like that's really, really important. It's something that you really should try to strive for. And so for number 4, I know it's going to sound kind of dumb, but actually do your work and go to class. I mean, I know that this is kind of a given. I mean, you're there to go to college, which, I mean, some people just go to party, but honestly can't really count how many students that I've seen over the last few years that just either don't go to class or just don't do any of their work. And I honestly just don't really understand it. You're spending thousands and thousands of dollars, whether it be out of your pocket, out of scholarships, or, through your student loans and stuff, just to be at college to begin with. Why wouldn't you put forth the effort to actually do it? And I know a lot of people are probably going to get mad at me, but I mean, going to class is very important. I know some teachers say, well, attendance isn't mandatory, and they're like, peace out, I'm never coming back, I'm just going to take the test. But you really lose out on a lot of the fellowship that you have in class, and there's a lot of things that you're not going to learn from the textbook or from the PowerPoints, however your teacher teaches, unless you're there to actively be involved in the classroom setting. And on another note, this is extremely crucial for those really easy classes. I know a lot of people take remedial classes, or the 101, like Math 101, English 101, whatever. But a lot of times they're like, oh my God, all of this is just extremely easy. I'm going to breeze through it. I can do 5 papers in a week. It's no big deal. Please do not procrastinate. Trust me on this one. From my own personal experience, the more you put off even the easiest of assignments, the more you're going to get lax with it and not want to do it, and then either end up having a really shoddy shoddy piece of work or just not do it at all, and then it's going to really hurt your GPA and your chances of trying to go further in college later down the road. All right, for number 5, it's kind of an easy one, but get a local bank account. Like where I went to college at, it was a very small town, so there was only 2 banks, and it was nothing that we had from my hometown. So about a month before I started, I looked up what banks were available and got in on one so I could have it there accessible, since I knew I was probably going to be here for the next 4 years, and I didn't want to get hit with all the ATM charges. Might not really seem like much, but $2 or $3 every single time you want to take out any money really adds up over the long run. All right, moving on to number 6 is to get used to making a schedule, or at least have some type of planner. I can really contest to this one because I absolutely hated, and I mean hated, having any type of planner, any type of schedule. I kind of wanted to freebird it, go wherever I want, do whatever I want, and I'll just figure it out later. But as the years went on, I figured out that it is a whole lot easier if you actually sit down and write out a schedule for either what the day plan is or what you're going to be doing for the week or the weekend. It makes a lot of things more concise, and it's a lot easier to get your work done when you look through your planner and be like, oh, I have this assignment due, next week. And this really keeps you from having to flip through your syllabus, or heaven forbid you lost it and they don't actually upload them online. I mean, you never know. And this is really important if you have a really busy schedule, like either you're doing a double major or your sports or your job. It's really easy to lose track of time, and so this makes it a little bit easier to try to keep up with yourself. Moving on to number 7, what I have is to get to know your advisor. And so they give you an advisor for a reason, and that's to advise you. They're supposed to help you out with your classes, try to figure out what your career goals are, and really the main reason why you're at college to begin with. I know a lot of people just go for the friendships or just go for sports, and they don't really have an idea what they want to do. They're just kind of there because they don't really know where else they want to go yet. And so what an advisor does is kind of helps you find who you are and where you're wanting to go in life. And the reason why getting close to them is really important is because a lot of times they have either had jobs that you might be interested in once you graduate with your respective degree, or, they might have a little bit more insight of what your possibilities are once you graduate. And honestly, if you get close with your advisor, a lot of times they're going to go out of their way to try to get you in the best classes that are going to challenge you, but also, teach you the most. All right, up next with number 8, we have something really simple, and it's to study somewhere other than your room or your dorm, or really even at your house, depending on how far of a commute it is. And so the reason why I bring this one up is that it is real easy to get sidetracked when you're in your dorm. I mean, you have 50 billion other people in there. A lot of times it's really noisy. People are doing all kinds of who knows what. And it can make it really annoying to actually try to sit down and study and get your work done when all of this is going on around you. And so for me personally, I used to have a hammock that I could hang up outside of the dorm room to have a little bit of peace and quiet and, sit out in the sunshine while I do my studying and do, making study guides and things like that. But I also can recommend going to the library because it's really quiet. You have individual study rooms at a lot of colleges, and it makes it a lot easier when everyone else is really focused around you, to not really get carried away with all of what's going on. Because, none of us really want to study. We want to, get on our games, get on Netflix and take naps and all that. And it makes it really hard to get things done when there's all kinds of distractions around you. And so what I recommend is just going somewhere that is outside of where you live at, to try to get any type of studying done, because at the end of the day, it's going to make you more productive in the long run. All right, moving on to number 9 is to explore your town or city that your college is in. I know a lot of times you'll get out with your buddies, you'll go to different restaurants and this and that, but actually get to know the different street names and where you're going, because a lot of times your phone's gonna die and you might not have a GPS and you're gonna be like, well, crap, I'm out in the middle of nowhere, I don't know how to get back, I got tons of gas, but I have no memory of where I'm at and how to get back to college. And so if you are an active driver at college, I would say, take a weekend sometime, get some buddies and just go drive different back roads, drive around the city, find some different restaurants, some different activities, get to know your area, especially, if you're at a 4-year university, you're going to be there for a long, long time. And so it's really important to kind of really get to know your environment. And so for number 10, I'd have to say is really the most important one out of the bunch, and it's to make time for yourself. I know a lot of times people don't really take self-care into consideration. They're, either always playing sports, always working, always out with their buddies, and this and that and the other. But a lot of times we can forget about ourselves, So every once in a while, sit down and do something that you truly enjoy just by yourself, whether it be, watching TV, reading a book, spending time in nature, whatever it is that truly kind of fulfills you and makes you happy. Make sure to take that time to be by yourself and with yourself. Self-care is becoming more and more prevalent, and it's something that is really, really important and that more colleges are starting to teach now. as you go on, because I mean it can be really, really stressful, guys. I mean, you have a lot on your plate, especially coming straight out of high school. I mean, that is a whole new world of possibilities, a lot of freedoms that you might not have had in, back in high school. And I mean, it changes a lot of things, the different types of relationships, the different types of friendships, the different environment to begin with. And so it can really bog down and wear on your nerves for a while. And so my biggest tip for all of this, I mean, if you take anything out of this video, is to take care of yourself, guys. Well, anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it was a little different. I really enjoyed making this, to be completely honest with you guys, and I hope that, at least you learned a little something. If you did, leave me a comment down in the comment section if you liked it at all. I'd really think about maybe doing one for graduate school, or maybe, graduating undergraduate. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of up to you guys. But anyways, thanks you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.